Alright, and hello there everyone. I am Custom, a competitive Splatoon 3 player and coach, and this will be my reaction to the most recent patch, which released October 17th for Splatoon. It's version 5.1.0. This is my first time seeing this, so you're gonna get my honest opinion about each one of them, but mostly for the multiplayer, that's about it. And without further ado, I'd say let's get going. So we start with Splatfest again. We all pretty much knew that was going on, that was going to happen, all that fun stuff. As well as the changes to Mahi Mahi. They made a tweet about it, so if you want to see the tweet about what they're specifically changing, it should be updated by the time I upload this video, but if you want to see the exact changes in the Twitter post, I'll leave a link to that below. And let's go to the main weapons. So, Junior, Custom Splashshot Junior, movement speed while firing. Oh, pardon me. Movement speed while firing is now 6% faster, so that's not bad for Junior. It actually helps its paint output quite a bit in the long run. So, gets bubblers, gets wave breakers quite quickly. I don't see this again being super detrimental to the meta. It's just makes it easier to strafe, makes it a lighter weapon. Nothing crazy with that. With both nozzle noses, so both the L3 and the H3 nozzle nose, the reduction to fall damage, or as a shot falls, the damage decreases, so with that they've mitigated that impact quite a bit. So I guess with fall off with H3 and L3, its damage will be a bit more consistent. Again, H3 and L3 have not really been in a healthy spot in the meta, mostly because of Cooler and a lot of fast-paced comps. So with Inkjets, pardon me, Booyah Bombs, especially Cooler as well, it's just so easy to move around and make them miss their shots. I don't see this being again, a super big thing to make the meta or anything like that, but it is nice to see. With S Plus 92, they reduced ink consumption by 15%, so that's probably another shot. I forget exactly how many shots S Plus does from the top of my head, but that gives it an extra shot. Mid-jump shot scatter reduction. Oh, okay, so they bettered the shot deviation for the short range shot, so it makes it a lot more accurate and a bit more consistent depending on where you're jumping. And they actually helped intensify action, or increased impact of intensify action. Actually, no, pardon me. I've read that wrong. Yeah, it will not change, so. They bettered the RNG, but intensify action still stays the same. That's just me reading that wrong. With Carbon and Kraken, okay, they're making changes to rollers, which I say is kind of scary, but kind of needed at the same time. With both regular roller and the Carbon rollers, widen the angle which horizontal swings deal maximum damage. Okay, so I guess people who are kind of familiar with Splatoon 1, you're actually able to one-shot one with no ink, and you could aim at the very side of your roller and still one-shot people. I don't think it'll be that extreme, because I think the devs kind of learned their lesson at this point, but it is nice to see with rollers, especially with Carbon, because you have to be right up in people's faces to do any damage anyway. And I understand people are probably like, why the hell is this not happening to Dynamo? And I think they already kind of did this. The big thing with Dynamo, again, it's just super slow, super clunky weapon with both this flick, so it makes it super vulnerable to cooler comps or anything that's like super fast-paced, again, like the Booyah Bomb Inkjet cooler comps, especially with shooters like Shot and Zooka. Makes those hard to avoid. They kind of did that in a previous patch. I can't remember exactly from the top of my head, but they kind of did the same thing to make the damage more consistent. And I think this is going to kind of do the same thing. Not increase damage, but makes your flicks more reliable when you want to do a horizontal fling. Paintbrush. Reduce the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering. So the white ink frames with paintbrush, so it gets reduced by 10 frames. So that's, again, not end of the world. Like, game breaking, but it's nice to see because paintbrush is quite an incongruous weapon. Reduction damage based on how far shots travel. Okay, so it's a minimum 2 shot and maximum 3 shot with the damage they're going to do. So the minimum damage paintbrush will do is 33.4. So it's guaranteed to 3 shot no matter what. And it's at CC 50 as well. So it's like the minimum range can do 50 to 33.4. So it can be a 2 to 3 shot, which makes it a bit more consistent. With the mini splatlings, reduce the amount ink consumed by approximately 13%. I think that's really good for mini splatlings. Again, just gets a lot of ink paint output out there. Will this be game breaking? I don't think so. If things don't really drastically change with the specials and again where things are at the moment. But I guess we'll kind of have to wait and see. I think that's like another full charge you can do with mini splatlings, so kind of the same thing with S-Plus to where you get another shot. You actually get a full round to shoot with the splatlings. Hydra splatling, okay. Movement speed while charging is increased by 10%. And increased firing duration by roughly 8%. I'd say that's actually really nice for Hydra, just because of how run speed kind of stacks and it's not the absolute greatest. Like, it still makes an impact, but it's not insane. But definitely that 10% movement buff really does make it faster. And it'll definitely like make a difference for sure for all those Hydra players out there. With Gluga's, reduction in damage based on how long a shot takes. Sorry, I need to read that again. Oh my gosh. The reduction in damage based on how long the shot takes to reach its target is now more gradual. Okay, so like they're changing kind of like how based on how far you are, the damage is kind of correlated to that. I think I'm getting that, but someone can probably explain to me in the comments. Probably have a better idea than I do. Curling Bomb. Finally, it's not 70%, it's instead 65%, which is actually quite nice. I guess this goes back to the paintbrush with its kit, so it makes it a bit less incongruous. You can actually use your main weapon for a lot longer, which is actually quite nice. So nothing too insane, but it's a nice touch, that's for sure. With specials, Killer Whale, increased damage dealt by approximately 17%. Okay. I swear, they're doing like a lot of buffs to Whale recently, so with its locking on capabilities as well as its damage, which I find quite interesting. Do I think this will make or break Whale into the meta? I would say I have to wait and figure that out, but it definitely makes it a lot better and a lot more consistent for weapons that can combo off it quite easily, so I'd say especially like 52 Gal, Rapid Blaster, Pro Deco. Those weapons will definitely have a fun time with it. And I will nerd out about this for just a second. Give Dreadringer Killer Whale. It would be so good, especially with this buff. Kraken Royale. Movement speed while not charging is now roughly 11% faster. I've heard people say now it's just the same as regular swim speed, so when you're not in a Kraken, it's that same speed. Which is actually quite a huge difference, because when you're just regularly swimming as a Kraken, it feels super sluggish compared to when you're not. So having that buff is actually quite nice to help chase people down. I don't know if swim speed, I'm pretty sure it is. Like swim speed stacks onto Kraken Royale and swim speed. But I want to see what people do with that. It'll make it definitely more of a threat instead of having to just rely on charges all the time. And alright, we have the thumbnail weapon. Try Zooka. Reduce damage dealt by explosions from 60 to 53. So there you go, you got your damage reduction. I don't think this will really take Zooka out of the meta, just because the main, I guess, culprit of why Zooka is meta was its damage, but also its output from Splattershot and Squeezer. And with Splattershot, it's actually a 190 points for Zooka weapon, so if you just run one main and one sub, which is no gear dependency whatsoever, but it isn't a lot really compared to other things, like that's a 170p Zooka, which is insanely fast to knowing how shooters are, especially coming from Splatoon 2. That is quite annoying to come against. Do I think the damage will make a huge difference? In some cases, maybe. Because I think of it when you start recovering health, when you take damage, you recover from 53 instead of 60. So, for example, you have to heal at least 7 points of damage, or more than 7 points of damage in order to take another Zooka shot, compared to where you had to heal 40, at least 40 hit points to take another Zooka shot, which I think is actually, no, that's correct. Yes, I'm doing quick math in my head. But yeah, you had to be at least like have more than 60 hit points, so you had to heal. Oh my gosh, my math is terrible. Yeah, you had to heal 20 points at least, and now you only have to heal at least 7. So again, that time between healing and when taking another engagement with the Zooka, that time is kind of reduced. So I think they want you to use Zooka faster, although that's only like a fractions of a second, but still, it does kind of make a difference. I don't think Zooka will be going anywhere though. A lot of people have been talking about its its upstart time, so like compared to Reef Slider, like it's faster than Reef Slider. Like its startup, it's 3/10 of a second, and then Reef Slider is like almost half a second, which is actually kind of stupid, but needs to be changed. But it is what it is. So yeah, Zooka is probably not going anywhere. Splash Shot's not going anywhere. I don't think Squeezer is really going anywhere. Tenta Missiles decrease the radius of the explosion area, deals 30 by approximately 15. I mean, missile nerf, people are like, yay, nerf missiles. Honestly, eh. I mean, that does the entire radius, so it does make a significant difference. But that's just only the area that deals 30. And I think the minimum missiles do is 30 anyway, so you either take 30 damage or you die. So, if I'm wrong, someone can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. So you'll be less likely to take 30 damage from each missile. But not too big of a difference again, but we'll have to see how that plays out. And some points per special. Air spray to 190, RG to 190, so that's the Booyah Bomb. PG, RG, yeah. Gold air spray to 190. Rapid blaster to 190. Big swing to 190. Squeezer to 210. Okay, Squeezer got to 210, which it definitely needed. Try Nouveau to 200. I mean, I feel like with its Fizzy, it got Tactical Air quite a lot more, or a lot more often than people would expect it to, but I can see why they went that direction. It's not the main cooler output weapon, NZAP is, but I guess that's the thing that goes through the dev's head. With all of the special weapons reductions, so from Aerospray to Big Swig, I like what they're doing. It just helps, I guess, with Turf War. That's pretty much about it. I don't really see any other situation you want to use it. Rapid Blaster may be the only viable one you'd want to run in ranked modes, but that's about it. So I could maybe see it getting a bit more usage, but Rapid doesn't get triple Ink Strike as fast in the first place. So again, we'll have to see where that goes, see how people experiment with it. Custom Dually Sculptures from 200 to 210. I don't see why for this. I guess Dually Sculptures and Chumps, like, its kits like synergizes super well, especially with all of the buffs Chumps have been given lately, but I don't really see the reason why for this. Like, it's not like it's spammed Super Chump, it just synergizes super well with the kit, so I'm kind of on the fence with, yes, it deserves it, but no, it doesn't really at the same time. I think 200 was a healthy amount to have that in the first place because it doesn't have a bomb to paint. And also, like, Sculptures can paint, but it doesn't want to focus on that a lot of the time. It just wants to be a skirmisher or wants to push up a lot more. And Stamper, 210 Zipcaster. Stamper had a bit more usage, like especially in the most recent European Championship, so we saw Phoenix use that a bit more. And I think it's been used a lot more in Japanese gameplay as well. 210 Zipcaster. I think they're just trying to put this thing in the ground at this point. Give it ink reduction, so everyone had to adjust their kits, and now they're increasing the amount for Zipcaster. So I don't know if that'll for sure put it in the ground. It might not. I would say more so, yes, it will. Splatoon Stamper is still a great main weapon. Like, don't get me wrong, its kit synergizes super well. But I think with the Zipcaster buff to where you can just one-shot if you hit an opponent, I think that's kind of why. So it takes rid of that combo potential, really. Or potential to, like, spam it. And that's about it. The rest of them are just kind of bug fixes and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on the most recent patch. I kind of want to know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And with that, I will probably see you all later.